Welcome to Authentic with Brazil 201. I'm your host, Brazil 201. We're going to talk about a lot of TV shows today. As you all know, with great power comes great respect. And the shows I will be talking about and recapping in order will be Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man on Disney Plus, Paradise on Hulu, Hunting Party on Peacock, Severance on Apple TV, and The PITT on HBO Max. And three of these shows are going to most likely be on my top 10 list by the end of the year. And these are fantastic shows, and they're all very different genres. And remember, beginning Sunday, I will be doing White Lotus recaps because our best show is coming back on television, White Lotus. And I did not get any screeners. I usually do, and because I wanna go in with White Lotus not knowing anything, because I like the week-to-week conversations, which is why Severance is phenomenal, why The PITT is also fucking phenomenal, and Paradise. I think we're in a great next 12 weeks of phenomenal television, because right after White Lotus ends, we go to The Last of Us, and Stranger Things should be coming out right before the Emmy window closes. I mean, I think so. But if the shows look a little too strong, I think Stranger Things gets pushed to July, just so Stranger Things doesn't have to compete with a lot of these shows. But yes, White Lotus will be back, and it will be obviously full spoilers. We'll probably do half White Lotus, half Severance, and whatever. Anyway, our first show I'm going to talk about is Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which is on Disney Plus. As some of you know, the original origins of this show was supposed to be a prequel to Civil War with Peter Parker, but as you know now, this is on its own separate Earth where a magic spider falls through a portal from a weird retro 1965 Earth of Doctor Strange, bites Peter, same powers, blah, blah, blah. But this is a very different Earth where a lot of the Spider Man villains are already established pre Spider Man. Peter has nothing to do with any of it. And Norman Osborn is his mentor. And he's not at Midtown High in this version. He's at some other super smart school in Queens that is not Midtown High, but whatever. The whole situation is great because I know people are kind of mad about the race swapping, about whatever, but I think Coleman Domingo's Norman Osborn is actually a fun twist. Like, I'm not mad about it. Though the issue seems to be for a show that takes place in 2015, Norman Osborn's kid is basically the equivalent of a social media star. And I do not think I'm trying to remember if they existed in 2015, and I don't think they did. We had YouTube stars, obviously, like iJustine, Mr. Beast, David Dobrik, and stuff like that, but we didn't have like the hot, TikTok white boys and all this other nonsense yet. So that's kind of been the weird thing because they act like 2024 Zoomers, not 2015 like culture things, because remember, like, Civil War was filmed pre like the Trump era. Like, even if you see all the newer Marvel stuff, you can see the effects now of, like, 10 year a decade of Trump, like, engulfed in culture all around. So it is like this weird thing where it's like they all behave like it's 2024, but the show's supposed to be taking place in 2015. Anyway, in this version of Earth, Otto Octavius is out here making a lot of things and giving people troops. The Sokovia Accords does still happen. Peter got his ass beat by Scorpion, and it's interesting that all these villains have or just work better without like Peter being involved in their origin stories, which is an interesting little wrinkle. Peter is very bad at his thing. And by the way, we haven't got the 180 twist yet if Norman Osborn Kit is evil. Like, it doesn't seem to imply it. We saw that he does have Green Goblin tech because he sends the glider to rescue Peter when he almost dies. But there hasn't been any hint that Norman Osborn is evil. Like, it seems like he has worked with Stark Industries. He has worked with God, they mentioned something else. I can't even remember. Some other fucking like super smart people shit. But also, uh Iron Man arrests Dr. Octopus in the last episode that aired, which is quite the twist because it seems Tony is very much behaving according to the Sokovia Accords, right? Everything has happened, right? The airplane fight happened, but there was no Peter there because remember, it is Norman Osborn who recruits Spider-Man. We're about to get the origin of Tombstone. I really do like how they're kind of doing the Bronx in this show. It's been a fun little tidbit into this. I think everything's been great. I think the show's been fun. I hate the animation. Like the animation looks really, really fucking bad. I don't know what is the deal with this because what if the animation is awful? X-Men 97 wasn't bad animation. It looked better. I wish it was more drawn like this. There's something off with the animation I still haven't been able to adjust to. It seems like Nico's powers are about to begin to pop up. I honestly kind of wish if we were going to do whatever post Secret Wars when we do another fucking reboot, I think this version of Spider-Man would have worked without Mary Jane, without Ned, all of it. Just having like everyone already exist instead of like, Peter being the calluses for everyone's lives going to shit, especially in a world where you're supposed to be like, why isn't here stopping this? Also, we see Matt Murdock in on episodes, and if you remember, in 2014 on the Netflix shows, this is when Matt Murdock becomes first active at Daredevil. So he's been around for a year, and he beats the shit out of Peter because he's just well trained, and I kind of like I can tell you're a kid, and blah 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 blah. I think it's great. I think everyone should watch. The first 8 episodes are up on Disney Plus. And remember, with great power comes great respect. You need to show your power so you can get respect. By the way, that line works so much better than with great power comes great responsibility. Bullshit. Whatever. Our next show we're here is Paradise, which is on Hulu, which is made by the guy who made This Is Us. It's in a city that's in an underground bunker in Colorado about 4 years after whatever this doomsday event happened, and our president, what the fuck is his name? God, I can't even remember. Cal, President Cal. That's right, President Cal, played by James Marsden from Sonic and Cyclops from the old X-Men movies. They live in a town. It's this fake all America white, looks like white USA, like Lifetime movie town where everyone is kind of happy and they all pay with like a Fitbit. We don't know what the event is, but just think it's Fallout meets Silo because we don't know what the event is. And I don't it's not like in Fallout where like Vault-Tec dropped the bombs and set this entire thing up. It seems like there was a natural disaster that the governments of the world knew. And it's fair to assume that a lot of the countries across the world probably made their own versions of the Colorado bunker, and there's not a lot of love to humanity. We learned there was a secret mission to go to the surface to see if it's livable, and it seems like it's frozen like a new ice age, kind of like in A Day After Tomorrow, and that there are people up there who are surviving, but it is a very in the fallout where we can't let them come to our city infected. We don't know if they have a disease, and that's all fair. So instead of like letting that information out, our quote unquote real president, Sinatra, who is basically, I want to assume, female Elon Musk or female Jeff Bezos, is really been the controller of everything. And as the real president is her and Cal's father, who apparently had top level clearance that the president of the United States down there never did. Also, no guns exist down there. It's a whole thing. Also, our baddie, Sarah Shadid, she plays like a therapist and a grief specialist. She looks great in this, but when does she not look hot? She's fucking Sterling K. Brown, as you know from This Is Us. The show is very This Is Us because I hated the pilot, but I've been invested now. I like the mystery. I hope we know what the Doomsday event is. It seems to be implied that Sinatra knew because she's not a government employee at all. She didn't work in the White House or anything. She knew about the event about 5 years before the event. So it's clearly some type of natural disaster that was destined to hit. I'm going to assume asteroid impact or whatever. There's no like, we dropped the bombs. I think it's great. Watch every episode. I hope this is a show that goes on for a while. It's been fun. It's great. I think this show's going to make my 10. Right? And I didn't expect it because I really did not like the party. Our next show is Hunting Party on Peacock. Hunting Party stars basically CW legends all mixed up together. Melissa Roxburgh from what is it? Manifest. She played she played Michaela Stone. She was like the NYPD cop. In this thing, she is now an FBI agent, and this show kind of feels like a pseudo sequel to Manifest. So there is a secret prison somewhere in Wyoming that had the worst of the worst criminals. So basically, the Raft from the MCU. And now, according to history, all these people have been dead for years, so no one knows they're alive. And a bomb went off, and now they're all roaming America. Somehow they all survive first an explosion and are just able to all jettison off in different directions in Wyoming. And they're now all committing serial killers, and it's up to Melissa Roxbury, Josh McKenzie, and what the fuck is his name? Patrick. Oh God, Patrick Sabago, who plays God, what was he on The Flash? He was. God, I'm so dumb with this. He played Captain Singh. That's right. He played Captain Singh, and it's a fun little cross team of everything because we get every episode opens with a cold open of like what they did to end up in the prison and these weird conversations they're having to like understand their mind. So in like the second episode of Hunting Party, this guy was like always in like foster home, and he would like use carbon monoxide poisoning to kill the family, play dress up with like the perfect family, all dead at a dinner table until the smell got bad, and went to the next family over and over and over again. It's fucking crazy. Okay, until like he apparently in the prison he watched this like DVD of the perfect family, and then he kidnaps them and begins to do it again. I listen. This has been a fun show. It's basically a better version of CSI. I hope this show gets what's it called? Renewed. I think broadcast television is back. This was a fun show. Obviously, I love any white girl with perfect eyebrows. And there we go. Our next show, Severance. I'm assuming everyone has seen episode 4 where the cat is out of the bag. Helly R has really been Helena the entire time, spying on them. And the interesting thing is, so they're all in this weird mountain expedition where it's snowing. So the Audis are now like quote unquote like asleep for like about 3 days now. Like the innies finally get to do something they've never done before, which is go outside, see the sky, sleep. Because remember, the innies never sleep. They just kind of just turn off when the Audis take over. So they get to experience like real humanity now. Mark fucks Helly, which is crazy that Helena, the Audi, was jealous of her innie's life and begins to take over it and fucks Mark. She rides that dick. Okay, they have hot sex in a tent and she's just getting fucked down. So Mark thinks like, yeah, he finally fucked Helly R. Little did we know, Irv is gonna, is able to like guess that like you're not Helly R, you're mean. Helly R would never do that. And we were like, who would have the ability to be able to stay an Audi in here? And then he's like, oh, you're an Egan. And he begins to try to drown her, in which Heliar's like, yes, turn me into the innie. And then Irv is fired. So we'll probably never see Irv. By the way, I assumed episode 4 would be Mark's first day again, because episode 3 ends with the reintegration. So like the episode's like, oh, we're gonna see, the first day of Mark again, and the memories like spliced together. But it doesn't seem to be that way, right? Because I assume there would be no flipping of the switch anymore if they reintegrate it. Like the memories would be combined and be like a new person, which I am going to assume is going to happen to Irv, right? Like the Irv will also get reintegrated and everything will be fine. The episode's great. I don't know what our next episode is. Maybe our next episode will be Mark's first day because it's interesting. But yeah, Mark got the fuck Helly R. Good for Mark. Okay, great. Severance has been fantastic. Next, the best medical drama on television right now, which is crazy to say, but it's also apparently the most accurate. Now look, I love Grey's Anatomy. I hate the current cast of, like, the interns in Grey's. Like, obviously, Meredith's not on the show that much, neither is Amelia, neither is, like, any of the, like, the characters we actually like. But the PITT, which is 24 meets Grey's Anatomy and the ER, it's just 15 episodes, and each episode is an hour. We're following one shift. And because of that, we're seeing, like, the flow of patients come in, a lot of different cast of characters, and there's still, like, the hint of, like, the mass shooting that's probably gonna happen towards the end of the season. Um, it's been a lot. From what like, every I didn't know that actual real ERs now, people just wear, like, sweatsuits and hoodies now. I guess this is, like, a post-COVID thing. This is a real thing that apparently is happening. I think Doctor Robbie, who is, like, our head of the ER who runs the floor, has been great. There's a kid whose tonsils almost, like, the surgery goes bad, and they have to save it by, like, opening up his neck. It's crazy. It's the most graphic medical show too because it's like an adult show. Um, the other one is what is the fuck is this? What is it? What is it? Dr. King, which is I think what's interesting is that though a lot of the characters are made to, like, look ugly, but they're really hot in real life. Like, the girl who plays Dr. King, Taylor Dearden, she is the nerdy white girl with glasses. She has a Down syndrome autistic sister who's at a home or a research facility. We also have, Javadi, who's, like, this gifted, like, finished med school at 19. We have Whittaker, who just is a constant fuck up, but is just trying to do his best. We have the plot twist that, like, Dr. Collins is pregnant, but she doesn't know, and also the other situation is real life situation is that I didn't know Pennsylvania has, like, a quasi strict abortion law. There's a plot line in one of the episodes where they're not allowed to give the abortion pill if they're after 12 weeks or something like that. So he has to fake the date, because that's true, she never said when they had sex, so it's, like, really week 11 so they can give her the pill instead of making her go to, like, New Jersey or New York where, like, you can get like, the abortion pills relatively easily. Really fucked up that this is the system in America right now. There needs to be, like, a standard that, like, everyone not to be, like, political on this part, but, like, whatever the number they eventually agree on, that, like, allow every states that everyone can up to, like, let's say week 16 or week 18 can get abortion access, and then states can go further if they choose to, but, like, no state can go below that. I think that's a fair fucking system instead of, like, the draconian system where, like, some none, some are 6 weeks, whatever, and this whole nonsense of everything that's happening. The Pit is fantastic. There's also the sad story about, like, these older people who are, like, 40 and their dad is in the tube and they don't want, to end his life. And then the fentanyl kid who's brain dead and they're gonna have to use his organs. It's been a sad fucking thing. I love the show. I think the show's also gonna be one of my 10. But anyway, this has been another episode of Authentic with Brazil 201.